main character realizes it's an illusion and not the real male lead, the fake male lead disappears, so does the brothel. He finds a swamp instead, finds the male lead in the swamp, drags the male lead out of the swamp, and he tells the male lead, hey, this must be your nightmare because you hate being filthy, you hate being nasty and gross. And the male lead wants to agree to him, but he's also confused why the main character be dressed as a woman if it's his nightmare they're all entrapped in. Well, it cuts to the friend, and we find out that it's not the male lead's nightmare or the main character's nightmare they're in. They're in his nightmare. That he is watching the one he loves be with another, and it frustrates him and upsets him and sets him literally off. Drives him insane. Once they're out of the nightmare, they get the other converters who are entrapped in the Arrow's nightmare too out of it. Like the main character's going around giving the medicine, he's checking in on them. The friend destroys the error. Like everything seems to be calm and steady for this moment. Not really, because the friend, he's not doing well. He's not doing well mentally at all. He's literally scarred by what has happened. So I forgot to tell you how they ended up on this little adventure. So they were just roaming about together because, again, the main character dragged them two out. And so they ended up coming across the temple that the main character has history with. They go inside the temple. They find a bunch of converters in the temple who are talking about the quest that they're about to go on, or a quest they've heard about. I wasn't sure which one it was because I'm a little confused about that part because, again, I'm not the smartest person around. And so they decide to go rescue the red dragon pavilion sack. Since the main character is the type of person that does not leave the side of his patients, he stays with them. He also uses this moment to talk with the red dragon pavilion sack leader how to be a better teacher to the male lead. And this guy is giving the main character pretty good advice. Like, this dude is being the main character's teacher of how to be a teacher, which is absolutely adorable to read. So one of the people, part of the group that they had ran into that leads them to their little adventure, was one of the male lead's abusers. He would pretend to be a hero, a kind, gentle soul that would be there to facilitate and help the victims and abused ones. And then once he was bored of them, he would throw them away and laugh in their despair. And the male lead was one of these people. That the male lead knew what this dude was doing, but had no choice but to play in this guy's games, even though he did not want to and wanted to call this man out for his actions, but had no choice to play this dude's games. And this dude, seeing the male lead again, thought, oh, I could play these games once more with the male lead. And the male lead is like, oh yeah, I'll lure you into a trap and get rid of you. And that's exactly what the male lead does. He gets rid of one of his other abusers, and I was clapping for him. I was cheering him on. I was telling him, go honey. And yes, I've said before that I do not like when people do evil actions just because they've gone through horrible things. But like I've said before too, is if this person deserves what they're getting, then yeah, give them what they deserve. But if you're attacking innocent people who don't deserve to be hurt or harmed, then you're just as bad as the people who hurt you. But if you're attacking people who do deserve it, or people who have harmed you, I'm completely utterly okay with that. And same as the main character. Like, we're both of the same mindset. So a sad fact about the male lead is the fact that the male lead harms himself. He hurts himself. And I am literally sad for him because, again, he's gone so much trauma, and now he's adding more trauma to himself by hurting himself. And I just want to dive in the book and be like, it's okay, baby. You got a husband that's there for you. He will support you. Anything you do. Just cheer up, honey. We'll work through these issues. We'll help you, and he wants to help you. No more harming yourself. We'll work through this. Like, just no. So the male lead, during the 10 years the main character was comatose, he was going around destroying erotic books and his sordid history books. He was going around destroying every single one of those, and when the main character gets hold of one of the books, he was brought by one of the red dragon pavilion students. The male lead strips it from the main character and tells the main character a relationship between two men could never really be joyful, be wonderful. It's nothing like in the books. Like, it's just horrible, vile, painful, and cruel. The one who's bottoming never has any pleasure, has no joy in it. He's basically traumatizing the main character, and I was traumatized listening to him. Like, he made me feel terrible for reading these kinds of books. I'm like, am I one of the bad guys? Like, I felt terrible. Like, I was also traumatized for these kinds of things. I'm like, you know what? I had no plans for this either, but you know what? This made me push it away anymore. Like, traumatized. And the poor kids who brought this book to the main character's attention ends up getting punished by their SAC leader once he found out they had those books. So the main character was traumatized, they were traumatized, and I was traumatized. The main character's friend lets him have the bead inside the water beast to make elixirs from, and the favored slave of the male lead's ex-owner shows up to have one of the beads to save his master's life. And the main character's refusing to hand it over because he doesn't want anything to do with this disgusting beast, which honestly I understand about where he's coming from, but the male lead convinces him to hand it over. Not for the disgusting beast, but for this dude. Because just because he's the favorite doesn't mean he's not being abused by his owner. If he does not return back with a bead, it's going to be a worse fate. He's going to end up just like where the male lead was. The male lead's like, my fate is for those who had lost favored. Favored ones still get abused. They just don't get severely as abused as the non-favored ones. But if you send him back without the speed, he's going to end up just like me. So the main character, even though he doesn't really want to hand it over, he realizes the male lead has a point. Like, yes, he hates this dude for what happened to the male lead, but he also understands that this dude's, just because he's a favorite one, does not mean he's not going to be a victim. So he hands it over to the male lead to hand over to this person. So the ex-owner's favorite slave, who has become the ex-owner's fiance, when he sees the male lead, he's absolutely stargazed. He idolizes the male lead. He idolized the male lead back when the male lead was the ex-owner's least favorite slave. Like, dude, he idolizes him. The male lead gave him advice that gave him the position he is now in. And even before the male lead gave him the advice, he idolizes the male lead. He looked up to the male lead. He was the only slave of their slave owner who understood where the male lead was coming from and the male lead's actions. That the male lead was having a little rebellion, and he idolizes the male lead. And when he sees the main character and male lead's relationship, he sees that the male lead is in now good hands, is now free, which, breaks a little thing inside of him because he's still entrapped. He's in a horrid man's hands and he can't do anything to really truly free himself. He's entrapped forever, which honestly breaks him. He even cries when he returns back to his owner, his fiance. He will never have what the male lead has, and it hurts him, but he still idolizes the male lead. And my heart was breaking because this is sweet little Bun. And I can't remember, is he supposed to have been the original protagonist? The one that the main character was supposed to save? I can't remember. I think he is. I think he is the original protagonist, but I could be wrong. But my little heart is breaking for him. Understand that if he is the original protagonist, why the system wanted him to be saved.